Hi everyone, welcome. This is Jody on my second attempt to get the stream going. So I'm super excited that it's working now, and I'm super happy that you're here. Again, welcome. My name is Jody, and I am from Jody Rose Studio up here in Sister Bay, Wisconsin, streaming from my studio, which is a little bit of chaos and mess in the background. But that's kind of what this little episode is about. Why we meet every Wednesday at 12:15. It's just a little midweek pause to reconnect with your creativity. We're raw, we're real. We do a little guided meditation every week, followed by an prompt related to that meditation. So how this will work is we'll get ourselves settled. We'll go through the guided meditation, and then we will do the art prompt. And then I have some super exciting announcements for you. So stay tuned for the end. We go about 30 minutes-ish, maybe a little bit less for today. If anything happens during the stream, I do archive these meditations each week. So you can always message me or write down below, and I'll let you know where to go to find it. So without further ado, grab something to write on and something to write with. It can be as simple as a pencil. With these art prompts, you can also use any medium, especially with this being recorded after we're live. You can do painting or collage. This is as fast or as full as you want it to be. Typically, I do them as just a really brief sketch or doodle. But there's no right or wrong to that. So just follow your heart each day and time that we do this. And without further ado, let us begin. One more announcement before we begin. I'm streaming from a platform that multi-streams. So I'm not able to read your comments in the chat if you have comments or questions. So we'll start to mitigate this from week. Right now, I'm just trying to hit everyone everywhere. And if you do comment down below or message me, I promise to get back to you. So let me know if you have questions, comments, concerns, and so forth. But for now, I'm not able to respond. Okay, that all said, let's put our supplies aside and just take a moment to center. Again, this is our midweek pause, our midday pause. So just plant yourself in your chair or wherever you're seated. Try to put the past to the side and whatever needs doing today or before the end of the week aside. And just really bring yourself into this present moment. And a way that I like to do that is to either close the eyes or focus to a place in front of you. And start just by feeling the floor beneath your feet. Feel the floor beneath your feet. Feel the chair as it supports you. And then just start to tune into the physical body, noticing maybe the tactile quality of your clothing. Up here in Northeast Wisconsin, it's pretty cold, so there's weight to my clothing as I have several layers. What do you notice about your fabrics, your clothing? Notice where clothing is touching the body and where it is not. Move your awareness now to the senses, noticing what you hear, perhaps what you smell. Maybe there's a lingering taste in your mouth if you've just had lunch. So tuning in, maybe noticing the sounds inside the room as well as outside of the room that you're in, maybe even street noise. Good. And lastly, let's connect with the breath. So just notice if you are breathing lightly or if you're breathing deeper. Notice the natural breath. Sometimes we notice it doesn't move past the collarbones. And if that's the case, gently make effort to breathe more into the heart and lungs. As you breathe into the heart and lungs, just notice the feeling of expansion with the inhale. And then pause. And then notice the settling of the body with the exhale. And pause again. So continue Breathing in, taking a pause. Breathing out, taking another pause. Inhaling and exhaling. Noticing the relationship between the breath and the movement of the body. Noticing if any thoughts move in, just let them move across the mind or put them aside. And we'll continue like this for just a few more rounds of breath. So let us begin the guided meditation. Again, you may close the eyes or just focus to a space in front of you. Imagine that you're standing in the street outside of your home with two heavy suitcases. You know that one of these suitcases is full of worries about the future. One of the suitcases is full of worries about the future. The other suitcase is full of regrets about the past. The other case is full of regrets about the past. Take a moment visualizing yourself standing out there in the street in front of your home, holding these two heavy suitcases, and reflect about each one. Do they look the same, or do they look different? Do they have different shapes or textures or patterns? Of worry about the future or regret about the past, which suitcase is heavy? Take a moment to reflect about the future and how it will come on its own accord whenever it comes, and that most of what we worry about will not happen. So taking a moment to reflect about the future comes of its own accord when it comes, and that most of what we worry about will not happen. Now, still standing out there in the street, reflect the other heavy suitcase. Consider how the past cannot be changed. Again, standing there in the street, reflect about the past and the other heavy suitcase. Consider how the past cannot be changed. All we can do in the present is to learn from it and to put in whatever corrections make sense, and to become more skillful in our decisions or boundary making or whatever is needed. And then we move on. So again, all we can do in the present is to learn and make course corrections and then move on. So as you're standing in the street, feeling the weight of these two suitcases and absorbing the wisdom of your own brief reflections right now, make a conscious decision. Do you want to let go of the suitcase of worry about the future? Do you want to let go of the heavy weight of the suitcase of worry? And if so, simply put it down. Observe yourself putting it down. You might also drop it, hurl it, or throw it in a trash can, or gently put it down. Notice the tact or the sense, the felt sense of having let go of the weight of that suitcase. And notice the balance or lack of balance associated with holding on to one, but not the other. So now, standing there in the street with the other suitcase that is so heavy about the past, make a conscious decision. Do you want to let go of it? Do you want to let go of your regrets about the past? And if so, put that suitcase down. Just put it down. Take a breath in and a long breath out. As soon as you have put down those two suitcases in whatever way that arose for you. Walk back into your home and take your seat right where you are. Just plop yourself down, imagining you're so relaxed, like someone coming home from a long trip without the baggages of worries and regrets. You're just able to relax, rested in the present, just breathing. Breathing in, pausing, and breathing out. And pausing. Breathing in, thinking perfect breath. Breathing out, thinking perfect moment. Perfect breath. Perfect moment. You are resting in the fundamental well-being of awareness itself. Present moment awareness, which does not have worry or regrets. Allow yourself to simply rest. Imagine the feeling or sense of peace, perhaps joy. Noticing if you are experiencing any physical or emotional shift, having put down and walked away from these two heavy bags. Notice if there's a lightness in the chest or a sense of expansion. Or maybe you don't notice a shift. That observation is equally valid. As we move forward to the next part of this workshop for today, I'll invite you to create a drawing based on your experience of this meditation. There are a couple of ways that you could do this. So you might want to circle back to this video after it's done recording. One might be to draw a line down the middle of the paper and draw each suitcase. It could be separate or not, but to draw the suitcases. Another option would be to do the left side, right side, and create an image about your experience of holding the suitcases, which is probably burdened, heavy, troubled. The other side, lighter. What is the felt experience of having let go of the suitcases? So these can be abstract using just line and color or different symbols. Just notice what comes up for you as an image and go for that, just as a quick little doodle. Know that it is totally okay to, thought I had an example here, to use a stick figure to represent areas where you feel sensation. You can add words to your drawing. So I'm just going to take about 5 minutes here for you to do the quick doodle, and then we'll do a little bit of journaling with the image. For those of you who are watching, who have done the meditation and who are doing the drawing, I'd like to invite you to keep working. And then for those of you that have joined later or who are joining now, I welcome you. This is a weekly online class to just take a midweek, midday pause, just to reconnect with creativity, carve a little time out for your creative self. How we work is we start at 12:15-ish, depending on the gods of streaming and how smoothly that gets started. And then we just do a brief 5 or 6 minute meditation that is guided imagery, followed by the creation of an image. So this will be recorded, and I archive all of my prompts in my membership course. I also have audio meditations on my teacher page on Insight Timer. So you can find links to all of these over in my bio website. And if you're not able to find that, depending on your platform, please feel welcome to message me down below or direct message. Today's topic is dropping the suitcases of worry and regret, and it can be an illustrative one. I've done this in workshop, and people really like it. Just as people are working, multitasking, just to share a little bit about art-based mindfulness, like why do this midweek? What's the importance of art-based mindfulness? And how is my art-based mindfulness different than how other people would teach it? Well, alongside being an art therapist, I'm also a yoga teacher. And as an art therapist, I do trauma-informed work, specifically using materials and methods to calm the body and quiet the mind. I approach my practice and my work with other people through a non-dual or through the mind-body lens. And I use materials strategically and prescriptively to help people meet their needs and to help them achieve their goals. So midweek, and things are kind of stressful and we're multitasking and doing a juggle, the guided imagery, the breathing techniques that we do at the beginning, even the act of creativity itself has a very calming effect on the body. And so our goal here is to take the pause, to calm the body, to quiet the mind, to get underneath the head chatter so that we can just reconnect with our own true nature and to move forward from the wisdom that comes forth through the imagery, which is ultimately your own innate wisdom. So it's a really cool process. I am going to be teaching an entire course about it, which I'll talk to you about after we do the processing. And it looks like we're at about the 5-minute mark, so let us move ahead. So having completed a really quick doodle, and by all means you can come back to your doodle, but take a moment to now notice your drawings. And if you did the left side, right side, just notice how are they similar or how are they different. You might have just done a drawing of a suitcase. You might have drawn your felt experience of having put down these suitcases. Whatever you've decided to do, just take a moment to observe without judgment. And now we'll be drilling with the image. So this is an art therapy technique called dialoguing. And basically you'll write a paragraph or a few sentences to maybe summarize the piece. And you're going to have a discussion with the piece as if it's a friend with wisdom to share with you, because it is, and it does. So the first question is to ask the image, what wisdom do you have to share? So what wisdom do you have to share about letting go? So like that, dear suitcase drawing, what wisdom do you have to share about letting go? I think I actually can put this up in the chat for you. I'll do that next time. And we'll see if this posts or not. This is the first time I'm on this platform, so we're going to be forgiving. What wisdom do you have to share? So I recommend that you respond from the perspective of the image and to write with your non-dominant hand. So you'll write, what wisdom do you have to share with one hand? And then with the other, you'll switch. And there are a number of reasons we do that. I'll speak to that at a later time. But for today, what wisdom do you have to share? What does that suitcase or what does that end image have to say? Experience will tell us whether you can see my next questions in the chat. But the next question would be to ask, what 1 to 3 specific actions can I take to let go of worry and or regret? So I find that oftentimes in dialoguing, the image has, it's altruistic, it's encouraging, um, it's going to kind of give you a pat on the back typically, but there's sort of a gee whiz quality to that. Next week I'll have some samples for you. But gee whiz quality is like, well, that's really nice. And then what? So I like to go a level deeper and ask what 1 to 3 specific actions can I take to let go of worry and or regret in this case. So ask your image specifically what you can do to let go, to be present, to move on. Ask what resonates for you. And then again, so do that with your dominant hand because it's you asking the question, and then answer with the non-dominant hand from the perspective of the drawing. So try hard not to impose an interpretation on the drawing. Just write a sort of stream of consciousness, what comes up for you. The last question is for your image is anything else? Do you have anything that you'd like to share? Again, write out the question with your dominant hand. Try answering with your non-dominant hand. I know, it's going to look really funky. It's going to look like a child wrote it. You might have a hard time writing or reading it. But give it your best shot. It does get easier with time. And just observe what the experience is like for you. Observe, do you notice the voice coming from a different part of your body or mind? What sort of tonal quality does it have? A couple of things to take in if this is your first time doing this sort of work. So having put down the suitcases of worry and regret, I am moving forward in part because later this will be recorded. You'll be able to come back to it and hit pause. You have the questions. So what wisdom does your artwork have to share? What 1 to 3 specific actions can you take to let go of worry and regret? And then third, is there anything else that your image would like to share? If you have kept up as rapidly as I've been going and have any comments or things that you'd like to share about your piece, feel welcome to post that in the comments down below. You're also welcome to DM me your images or post your images if you feel comfortable with that. I'd love to hear from you. I once had someone, I taught this in a workshop, and a woman said that she flung her suitcases down the street and she felt so much lighter and better and excited and hopeful having done brief meditation. So my wish is that that's been somewhat helpful or very helpful, such as it was for her. Anything that creates that small positive uplift or shift is awesome. So again, for those of you that have joined a little late, and before we wrap up, I just wanted to recap what we do as we meet here every 12:15-ish on Wednesdays on your favorite social platform. We start out with some guided imagery followed by an art prompt. So we have a few minutes, probably 6-7 minutes to just pause. We do the guided imagery and some breathing techniques to ground, center, and just calm the body. Then we create the image once the mind is quiet as well. And then we work with the image by journaling with it as we just moved through. And that kind of cut through the mind chatter and the head noise to really reconnect us to some solutions that are there, but we often avoid them because we think they're overly simplistic or we're just too distracted to like really notice them. Now, the technique of calming the body to quiet the mind to work with the imagery is what I've developed as art-based mindfulness as a trauma-informed practice. There's a lot of mind-body research related to this. And the practice of using regularly and to use it to address life's challenges and obstacles is a process that I call creative compassing. This is an awesome practice because you learn how to use materials strategically and prescriptively alongside or in addition to doing the drawing prompts. So we might use materials on certain days just to help, like, about sensory processes and not about completing things or being productive, but simply to be in the creativity, in the playfulness, and just experiencing the joy of the use of materials. That's equally, if not in my practice more, and with the people I work with, that's more and more important than doing this reflective writing, self-awareness, site building stuff that we do with the drawing prompts and the journaling. They're both really important, but they're neurologically speaking, they just work with different parts of the brains. So I am launching a new course that explores all of this and guides you through the different types of materials use and teaches you to establish a practice that meets yourself where you're at as you navigate life. And that's called Creative Compassing. It's coming out in January. And this week I am launching my pre-sale. So I'm launching it at a 60% discount. It's going to be a $200 course at least. And I'm selling it this week for $79 in exchange for your feedback. So if you go to the link on my website and click on Creative Compassing, you'll be brought to a landing page that tells you all about the course. Each week for the next 3 weeks, I'll just be emailing you a couple of questions. And it's really questions just about course delivery. Like, do you want to do live or do you want it all on demand? What do you think of this title versus that title? What's your preferred bonus freebie? Is it this or that? So it'll take you 5 minutes a week tops. Probably 2 minutes tops, but it's information that's really, really helpful for me, ultimately really helpful for lots of other people as the course is launched in January. So you can get on that now. The sale lasts until December 2nd. It's a really cool class. It is something that I embedded into my True Natured Challenge, and those founding members loved it. We still practice it every week in my Live True membership. So if you're available from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every Thursday, you're welcome to join that membership. If you want more information about that, you're welcome to message me. I could go on and on about the various different resources, but for today, let's just focus on, we got through doing this on one stream, and we got through our first awesome art prompt together. And I hope if you like this, the Creative Compassing is a really rich resource for you. So I hope to hear from you. I'm really glad you're here. Thank you. Next week, I'm not sure what my schedule will bring. I may be down at my Sturgeon Bay studio with the gorgeous moss wall, or I may be here with, the stuff scattered amongst the background. Either way, I'm glad that you're here with me. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Namaste.